Hey, guess what? Volume 4 is out. Go read it. Hey, kids, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, hoping that you are having a great day. And in today's video, we want to sit back, relax, and have a little chat about the rather sad state of the Yu-Gi-Oh market. You see, if you guys, if you've not been paying attention for the last few years now, with the exception of specialty sets like Quarter Century Bonanza or whatever have you, most new Yu-Gi-Oh products that come out fail. Most come out at a price tag of between $60 to $80, and then shortly after release, or even sometimes right at release, you are going to see those price tags dip and then never recover. I've said before on this channel that I strongly believe Yu-Gi-Oh boxes that have collapsed in price post-release are an opportunity for those who are A, cool with losing money because they like Yu-Gi-Oh regardless, and B, are comfortable with sitting on boxes for a long time. And that opinion has not changed. But I also believe that it's important to talk about how absolutely miserable and bleak current Yu-Gi-Oh sets look from a purely buyer's perspective, a purely investor's perspective, a collector's perspective, etc., etc., etc. We are July, so 7 months into the year, something like that. We're halfway through the year, halfway through 2025, and we've had 5 major Yu-Gi-Oh set releases. We've had Supreme Darkness, Maze of the Master, Alliance Insight, Monster Mayhem for the Battle of the Legends stuff, and we've had Duelists Advance, the most recent set of which came out like a week or two ago. With the exception of Monster Mayhem, which is a gimmick set of sorts, none of these sets have a sealed box price above $50. In fact, most of them sit under $40. And as I said earlier, in case you didn't hear me, most Yu-Gi-Oh boxes come out between $60 to $80 when you're trying to buy them from a store, for instance. It's not new. It's nothing new, really. This has been going on for a while. But this is a trend that a lot of stores and a lot of players and a lot of collectors are really noticing hard. And it's making a lot of them ask the question, is Yu-Gi-Oh as a game financially something that I'm comfortable with parking any money into for the long term? And a lot of people have asked that question and come up with the answer, no. And there's a lot of factors that go into that, okay? There's a lot of factors that led to the current situation, the current state of Yu-Gi-Oh box prices, and then there's a lot of factors at play for the current attitude towards Yu-Gi-Oh as a game and Konami as a company. And look, this is not a history channel. I'm not going to give you guys a full breakdown of all of Konami's wonderful choices, all the decisions they've made in the last 20 plus years. But just know that as a company, they've made a lot of decisions that not everybody agrees with when it comes to rule changes or rarity shifts for the American releases, or things to release or not to release, or even just sudden interesting rule changes for older formats that weren't really under Konami's purview, and players only played those formats because it was like how the game used to be, but then Konami tried to change it, and everybody got really mad, and then Konami backed off. Fun times, good story, I like that one. Konami as a company has never been particularly great at managing the full extent of their product catalog. And if you don't believe me, then just look at the fact that they believed Metal Gear Solid should be a pachinko machine franchise. And yes, I'm still mad about that. How could you tell? Konami, in addition to having some genuinely questionable decisions as a company, has a reprint policy and an approach to metagame balance and power level that the average new player to the game isn't necessarily going to enjoy. It's led to a environment where new players, potential new players to Yu-Gi-Oh, feel drowned out by the sheer intensity of the mechanics that this game has. And this ends up pushing a lot of them towards older formats if they choose to stay in the game at all. A lot of new players to Yu-Gi-Oh, they don't even play with the new stuff. They are playing GOAT, they're playing Edison, they're playing all kinds of older formats because a lot of new stuff is, I don't want to say too complicated, but too fast, too meta-intensive, too expensive to get started because, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Still has the problem of if you want a meta-relevant deck, you're going to have to sink several $100s into it, and then just a few months later, thanks to the wonderful reprint policies of Konami, that same several $100 deck is going to be worth $50. It's been a problem ever since I was a kid, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Konami has a hard time trying to onboard new players to the game. Konami has a hard time balancing their game. Konami has a difficult time deciding how, where, and when to implement reprints in a productive manner. All of this has led to the situation, all of this and more, because there's way more that I'm not covering. I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh! Historian, I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh! Expert. I guarantee if you spend 5 minutes browsing YouTube, you're going to find a dedicated Yu-Gi-Tuber who's going to have a way better, more full and concise explanation than I can give here. But I just want to say that all of these factors and more have led to the current state of the game, where boxes come out and they dip down immediately to $50 or less in some cases. And it's not like these boxes are bad. I need to stress that. These are good sets. Supreme Darkness is great. Duelist's Advance is really solid. I like the gimmick of Monster Mayhem, where they took some of the famous monsters from the game's history and gave them chibi form shiny alt arts. I like that. There's a lot of good stuff in these sets. But Konami's really terrible approach to card availability, rarity, etc. has led to a situation where nobody really wants to buy the boxes. Nobody wants to sit on the boxes. Game stores are incentivized less and less to buy boxes, which is in turn leading to this situation where they're being dumped on the market for less than what game stores pay. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. And again, there's a lot more going into this than what I've talked about. But this has been a long time coming. And this has been this way for a while now. And I need to stress, like, it's not like there's no value in these boxes, okay? When I say that these are $50 boxes, there are like $100, $200, $300 cards in some cases in some of these sets. Like, there's some real value there to be had if you have the right pools. Not on the cheaper stuff. I'm talking like the chase cards. The chase cards, there are some real valuable cards there. But the box prices don't reflect that. And the box prices don't reflect that because Konami has been spending so much time sabotaging the game. They have a terrible onboarding experience. They have a genuinely unfortunate metagame state right now. And they have a really terrible approach to how they deal with reprints. And all those factors and more lead to the current state of Yu-Gi-Oh! Which I think can be fixed relatively easily, even. Crunch some sets together. Stop giving us a new box every month. You could have easily taken Monster Mayhem and Duelist's Advance and made them one single 200 card set. Easily could have done that, right? The pull rates could have been the exact same. Cards per pack could have been the exact same. And I think it would have sold just as well, just as fine, or just as poorly regardless, right? Stop reprinting every single card that gets meta relevance into the dirt. I don't mean have super rare, exclusive, rarity only versions of the cards, but what I'm saying is, you can do what Pokemon does, where there's a cheap version of a strong card, and then the special shiny foil version that everybody needs to shell out $100 for. Team Rocket's Moltres. Team Rocket's Mewtwo. And then the big problem is they've sabotaged their onboarding experience. And I got to talk about that at some point, but yeah. It's crazy. I need to talk about Rush Duels more, because Speed Duels failed and Rush Duels is the future. I'm going to talk to you kids later. Let me know what you guys think about the current situation. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Ciao! And I am speaking directly to any person working at Konami who might be watching this video. Please give us an English release of Rush Duels. You guys will make so much money.